So here we are for our final look at the design thinking process and its stages. And I hope you've enjoyed our previous vlogs, because we've come to the point where we can actually tell you where this all culminates and tell you a bit about what's going to happen next, because we're not at the end of our journey at all. So today we're at that sixth stage of the process, Jill, looking at prototyping. And I'm sure people looking and listening are thinking they know what this is all about. They know what a prototype is, but just tell people a bit about what is prototyping within this design thinking context.
Okay, so prototyping is really an important aspect, as they all are really, but this is where the design thinkers have an opportunity to actually make their conceptual idea a reality. So up until now, it's probably been, talking about things, the possibilities, things that might be. But now what we have to do is actually take whatever the idea is that we're going to turn into a reality and have it so that we can show it to people, allow people who are going to be the end users of that solution or that reality to actually engage with it, to feel it, to touch it, to look it, to see it, to experience it. So prototyping is really important. But the nice thing about prototyping is that it doesn't have to be the finished article. So in a way, it's just an opportunity to take the concept, turn it into something that the user can engage with, and allow them to actually give us feedback. So tell us what they think of it. Do they like it? Do they not like it? What works? What doesn't work? And this is really taking something and producing what we call a tangible artifact, so that people can give us some good feedback on that.
And I think for this particular context of the way that design thinking works, this doesn't have to be perfection. That doesn't mean we have to put everything into, all the resource into producing something that we're pretty sure will succeed. We've almost got to hold back a bit and say, look, let's just go with what feels okay at this point, because we're open to the sort of feedback that will challenge perhaps what we've done, and we're fine with that. We're okay with that.
Yes, and if you think about it, if I was the user that was looking at this prototype, if it was too perfect, I might feel that I can't give honest feedback, because the people who have designed this have put a lot of heart and effort into it. And if I'm actually saying, well, that bit there doesn't really work properly, so the fact that it does look a bit more rough and ready allows people to be very honest in their feedback, and that can be very helpful. So again, if I was to think of perhaps a couple of tips here to help people in the design thinking process. So prototyping is about experimentation, definitely. It's, part of just seeing what works, seeing what comes together. But it's also about putting aside the fear of failure and not getting it right. Perfection is not a word that we associate with prototyping. So have a go, just see, and be prepared for your users to come back and give you some real honest feedback.
Yeah, and that's really where we move into the testing bit. So prototyping and testing are very much interlinked and flow almost without seam in one into the other. But for the purposes of clarity, we separate them out and talk about them differently. So have it not differently, but we talk about them separately. So we've created the prototype, we bring it to our testers, and there might well be a range of testers from different stakeholder groups. So that testing stage could be testing it with immediate colleagues, testing it with senior people in the organization. It might be testing it with external stakeholders. So the potential to actually gather the widest range of feedback is really, really important, and informs that process that you've just been talking about, Jill, which is, yeah, okay, let's change that. It's fine. We haven't invested a massive amount of resource in it, so it's okay to make those changes. So thinking about an example from our COVID world, I mean, this may well be the stage where we go out to our employees with a new idea. Let's try out this action learning approach to creating a way forward for us. So I think it's coming up with practical ideas that you can test out. And particularly when you're dealing with people and people's emotions and people's future thinking, we have to be open to that feedback, don't we? We have to be flexible in terms of what we end up with.
Yeah, and I think you've hit the nail on the head there, really. It's the critical thing about the testing phase is about the willingness to accept the feedback, you know, to listen to what the users are saying. And again, it's sort of in a way to me goes full circle, because as the designer, you're trying to engage in a very empathetic way with the people who are going to use that product or service or model. And you can really feel that they feel it is of value. And I think feedback is the critical thing, and to, you know, not get things perfect and not worry about things, but just really to embrace the data that you're getting.
Yeah, and you could end up in a very different place to that where you expect it to be, and that's great. That's what the creativity process is all about, isn't it?
Exactly. Okay, so I mean, I think it's been really interesting to have a chat about the prototyping and testing phase. So I guess again, it's an opportunity to invite people to comment on what we're suggesting. And in the next video, we will talk a little bit about how we would like to offer to people an opportunity to have a go at the design thinking process.
Yeah, we're going to have a little workshop that we're going to be offering online, just a few hours of your time for a very small fee. So watch this space, keep your diaries free. We're looking at doing something on the 24th of November, but we'll be saying more about that in our next vlog. So we look forward to explaining all of that to you. Thanks for listening today.
Great. Catch up again soon. Take care.
And Joe, bye.
Bye.